Welcome everyone here in the Buriram circuit here in the center of Thailand. Welcome everyone to round 7 of Formula Hololive International. We're now here in the latter stages of the Formula Hololive International season after we've had 2 races in the United States and Australia, and after we've had 2 races in Indonesia and another 2 races in Malaysia. We're gonna take a short vacation to Thailand because we're gonna be having a bit of a racing session here in Buriram in preparation for the 5th Fest, which is in a week away. So anyways, let's take a look into the track map here in the Buriram circuit. 4.5 kilometers of racetrack with only 12 corners in total. As you can see here, the shape of this track would shape up to be quite interesting one, because you can see there's a lot of medium to high speed corners which will test the tires. And also we're going to only go for a lap count of, sorry, it's not 46 laps, it's actually 55 laps. Apologies for the slight error here. We're going to be racing for 55 laps in this Buriram Super Prix. We're looking at target lap time, sorry, it's not a 146 either. It's actually going to be maybe a 123, 122 for Buriram International Circuit, but we'll have to wait and see. Home Time Motorsports, we're also going to be taking a look into the record wins for driver and talent, and that has to be Mohammed Reza, who's won 2 races in both Hololive GT3 and Formula Hololive in this circuit for Himamori Luna, which there's going to be some big news about him later on. So yeah, 12 corners of Buriram set to await these drivers 55 times in this race. So let's go straight into the we're gonna go straight into the championship order. Anyways, let's take a look here. Jake Martinez currently leads Formula Hololive International with Formori Calliope after winning the Malaysia Grand Prix. And also we have Alex Wazif only about 21 points behind Jake Martinez after he's had a very consistent run in the season. He's not finished lower than 4th in the 4 races after round 2, and he's been on the podium for 3 of the last 4 races. So Aziz Wazif has a lot of consistency up his sleeve. Will he bring something more for the Resuners? Zeke Wimberly, of course, was a 17th by round 2 of the season, but after remarkable races, Zeke Wimberly for Sarasvana is now in 3rd place at the precipice of challenging for the championship lead from Jake Martinez and Aziz Wazif. We have Takeda Adachi for Ina, Corey Rico Mendes in 4th and 5th. And we have Costanto in Sim 6 and 7, and Ahmed El Ashor ready for his 3rd Formula Hololive race. We'll start for Kyle Kowalski in 8th, currently 8th in the standings. Evans and Bertelsen 9th and 10th in the standings will also try to bolster their chances for top 5. Bernardo Santiago and Kento Kai obviously still out of the top 10, but they might be looking for performance. Rafael de Oliveira now jumps up closer into the top 10 after his amazing result at the Malaysia Grand Prix. Hanari Miyuki is on a downturn of performances right now. Let's just hope that she can find some performance gains. Same goes for Keiko Takaboshi and Shonga Lyles. Kay Garcia, 17 for Best Jazetta. Not looking good for her, given that Zeta has yet to make her 5th Fest debut. Sven Jensen for Iris will look to leave a mark for Iris, although he hasn't been performing at his best, but he'll try his best anyway. And Inoki Dayo, after some very poor runs, is currently last in the standings. Let's see if she can find her means to basically get herself back up into at least top 10. So anyways, welcome everyone to Buriram circuit, and fortunately we got a pretty busy commentary booth right now. I am Mohammed Reza in the commentary booth, and alongside me is of course Zeke Wimberly in the commentary booth as usual. Zeke, welcome back to the commentary booth. Let's get this qualifying started.
As usual, might be crazy because this is like my first time back in like a month, but anyway, I'm here. And more importantly, however, I can't help but notice that Jake Martinez, I believe, 666 score. Do you think that is a curse or a blessing from the Grim Reaper?
Well, if you ask me about Jake Martinez, obviously he's had a very odd touch and go season up to this point, but anyways, as we're talking about Jake Martinez, he is basically representing the mentee of the dev itself. And obviously 666 is very much an unlucky number that is often associated with dev. Jake Martinez might actually be in a lucky spot given how he is currently leading the championship standings with 666 points.
Well, I'm really hoping for a devilish finish. Hopefully, maybe like, I don't know, some really rough racing. I don't know. There's just something very angry about that number that I really like bringing into this racing series.
Well, it depends on whether or not Jake Martinez can score some very good points here. So anyways, we're gonna go on and on board for a specific driver, specifically Takeda Adachi, who's actually the first driver to come out on track. So let's go on board Takeda Adachi here to start this lap. You see here, brake at 100-meter mark at turn 12, which is basically the slowest corner of the track. Get a very good exit off of turn 12 to have a short burst on that main straight into turn 1. And then brake just about before the 50-meter board into turn 1. Get a good R hang around in 4th gear for the longest back straight of the circuit. And then you see here there's a slight left-hand kink at turn 2. And then coming into turn 3 here, find your braking zone. He brakes at around a 75-meter board at the first sector timing being 21.330 for the Nindomai Nanas representative. It's a very decent lap for him so far. And here's another long back straight. A good exit off of turn 3 is important to get as much time as possible coming into turn 4 here. Here, speaking of turn 4, flat out in these Formula Hall of International cars. And then coming into the 50-meter mark into turn 5. And then here's the twisty part of Buriram. Turn 6. And then turn 7 coming to the second sector, timing being 54.22. And as you can see here, he's got few corners left to navigate. Turn 8, 4th gear, and then a slight dab on the brakes for turn 9. Get a good arc on that car going here. Turns 10 and 11 flat out, easy right here. And then we go back into the final corner. We got a 100-meter board. Find the marker on your left. Downshift into 2nd gear for turn 12. That should be a lap here in Buriram. Currently setting the provisional time 1:21.796, as we mentioned. The target lap time might be around 1:23 to 1:22, but right now we're seeing drivers like Adachi absolutely performing.
The temporary pole, 11 minutes still left in the qualifying, as slowly and slowly more cars will take up their times doing racing. I'm expecting, I think a 1:20 pole would be I think the ideal time, like as long as someone gets a 1:20, which isn't that far off. And new pole actually, Galio at a 1:21.396. That is definitely not a bad time at all in the slightest way. It's actually pretty good. That's pretty beatable, but like for now it is a very good pole.
It's a very good time for Sean Galile here, who has been pretty much non-existent throughout the first half of Formula Hololive International. But right now, Galile's going to aim for an improved performance and an improved fortunes in the second half of the season. Of course, Ahmed El Ashor is also looking for a very, very good lap time. So you see he's up on the first sector. He is somewhat matching on the second sector. Now coming in.
Really notable, I believe, is Mazif in 11th right now, and then a Galile in first. Other than that, it's a pretty standard leaderboard so far as we approach the 10-minute remaining mark of this qualifying.
Correct. So anyways, we're looking back into a bit of a surprise here. We're about looking at almost all drivers already setting their times here. And actually looking at Wazif, as you've mentioned, manages to improve his time only 3/10 behind the pole time set by Sean Galile. It looks like all 19 cars have set their provisional times. And it looks like Sean Galile is going to be dictating the play here in the Buriram circuit with a 1:21.396. Z, as you mentioned, the possibility of someone getting closer to the 1:20 is actually there. And speaking of getting closer, look at Angela Sims, 1:21.312 for the driver representing Anya Melfissa.
However, on the other end of the spectrum, we are not seeing very good times really at all. Seeing times within the 1:24s, which is definitely a time it's a very, very lame time. So hopefully people setting those times will definitely get their act together during the main race. And speaking of act together, Takeda Adachi just kind of crashed out.
Well, he's gonna try to go back. No. He's gonna go back because right now I think he's made contact.
He's gonna make it.
Yeah, he's gonna make it.
Yeah.
I mean, awesome for Adachi, but he's gonna have to forfeit this lap and the next because obviously He's basically someone has made contact with another driver, I believe, at the final corner, which explains why Adachi is stranded at where he was at right at the moment. But looking at the gaps between Sean Galisle and Angela Sims, now looking at Sean Galisle, he's gonna have the help from his Hololive teammate, that's Bernardo Santiago, Amisame Connections, to get that slipstream, but right now he's only lost a lot of time on that first sector. Let's see if Sean Galisle can gain a bit more time in the next two.
Well, that's something we'll have to wait and see for, and, I know this is just qualifying and everything like that, but was the damage that Adachi sustained enough to impact the car itself, or is it just, minor scratches all that?
It's from what I've seen here, if you make a contact on the basically if you're alongside a car and you're in the inside, and if you are not fully alongside and the driver on the outside basically turns in on you, the driver on the inside is usually the one that spins out. And usually, if you look at Adachi's car isn't really that mangled, but then again, it's almost at no punishment, because we're gonna find that later as Kento Kai improves his time to get himself up to 5th, only like half a second behind Angela Sims. But anyways, back to Adachi. Adachi basically made contact with probably someone on the outside, and that basically sent him into a spin and into the nearly into the inside wall. But fortunately for Adachi, given that the contact is pretty much light, I should say the damage is pretty minimal, and he should be able to continue.
Yeah, and also, thankfully, that will mean that Adachi does have a potential to improve upon his time, although that is going to be very hard to do so, as he set a, high 121, which is a very, very, decent, score, and with, although the car isn't that mangled, I have the, superstition that it's going to impact his performance in some way, in some form.
So, looking at the rest of the field here, Adachi, speaking of Adachi, having a pretty good qualifying session for himself. Rafael de Oliveira is continuing his pretty decent performances after pretty much ghosting in the first half of the season. De Oliveira, of course, is a proud representative for Pavoli Arena. He is absolutely enjoying his time representing the Marakyats. He's currently up in 8th place. And also Juan Costanto, who has had a pretty unremarkable stint in Sepang. He's now up at least in the top 10. And speaking of championship leaders, Jake Martinez is at least in the mid-pack. He's currently inside the top 10, but what are the odds that he's going to improve? And speaking of improvements, 1/10 of a second up on Sean Galisle on his lap puts him on provisional pole.
That is very, very nice to see. We almost hit a 120, so I guess he really did get his act together within, last few sectors and all that. And they are only ahead by about a 10th of a second, 121.202, which is definitely a time you want to see. We're slowly getting closer and closer to the 120s, although at this point, I really doubt anyone's going to set one of those.
So, and then looking at more drivers coming into the pit to try to switch up their tires and fill in a bit of more fuel. That will be Juan Costanto in the number 2092 Oro Crony car. And speaking of the other drivers who have already pitted, Angela Sims has already pitted. And right now, she is currently on an out lap. That basically means she just got out of the pits and tries to get her tires warmed up and sticky, and making sure that she has the best grip possible for her next lap. So Angela Sims also having a very good finish in the Sepang Super Prix, beating out Kento Kai for 2nd place in that race. Angela Sims has been slowly firing herself up for the Mel Friends, Angela Sims. Anyways, let's see where Angela Sims' lap goes.
Well, just for the most part, it's just pretty standard lap so far. Gonna take the straight down there, take a left. I'm sorry, I cannot commentate full laps. I am so bad at it.
Anyways, back to Angela Sims. She's only 0.04 of a second behind Sean Galisle's time on that first sector. We're seeing improvements from Dan Evans and Hanari Miyuki. They are now up into 15th and 16th respectively. Angela Sims has turned 4 to be, obviously, in these Formula Hololive cars. Unlike the GT3 cars, you can take it really flat out because they have the grip and the downforce. Anyways, coming into the 2nd sector timing beam, which is pretty much up here, she is only a 10th of a second down. So Sims needs to find some time in the final sector if she wants to match at least Sean Lyle. Because right now, she's still good enough for the front row, but for Angela Sims, I think this she'll need to try again.
It is not looking like a bad lap though. Definitely at around 115 right now. There is definitely time to make, but I don't think they're gonna make Sean Lyle's pace right now. Yikes, 121.287, just about not even like a tenth of a second off.
So yeah, as you mentioned here, she's had a very good run in that number 33 car. But let's see if she can restart the lap again. But this time, this will be her second try, and there's still some life left on these soft tires, right? And you can see here she's only 100th of a second this time on that first sector. So if she can lose less time on the second and basically gain some time on the final sector, then I can say that Angela Sims might be able to pip Sean Lyle for pole.
Yeah, a 121.1 would definitely be a time to admire, as it was just a hard time to set just in general. So that if we really get that, I'm sure everyone, not even, you know, their opposition, will definitely be cheering. As again, that is a very takes a lot of skill in order to really pull off that pace.
Anyways, Angela Sims setting a pretty decent second sector there. The previous lap, she's already down by a tenth of a second, but now she's down by only 600. So if Angela Sims can gain a lot of time and basically maintain the performance on that final sector, Angela Sims might actually be good enough for pole. Here's her crossing the line and beats Sean Lyle by 200ths of a second. That is her on provisional pole. And right now, with Sean Lyle still now coming out of the pits, it's not over yet.
Dang, this is one hell of a cope for the Trumpets. Oh, and that is just downright insulting. Really just spat in the face of Galio there, and I'm not even sure if Galio can even do anything about it, because 121.178 is very hard to beat right there, but they can sure as hell try.
Anyways, we're gonna focus on some of the other drivers here. We also wanted to pay attention to Moise, also continuing on his consistent run inside the top 5. Also, Takeda Adachi currently in 4th, Zeke Wimberly 6th, Costanto 7th, De Oliveira 8th, Kate Garcia showing that she still got skill on that Vesazera number 03. Jake Martinez currently in the championship lead. That will be his qualifying session over. Same goes for Sven Jensen qualifying in 11th. Corey Rico Mendez will end his qualifying session at least 12th. Miwa Takaboshi, Ella Shore, Tayo, Evan Santiago Bertosa are continuing on their qualifying runs. And Miyuki has also said that it's also time for me to finish this qualifying run. I'm not going to get any faster lap times. That'll be it for me. But for Sean Lyle, he's got everything left. He got all to play for, because the pole position may be on the cards for him.
And he can only really hope right now. This is really going out for the Chumbuds right now. And I honestly... Hold on, did Sims just improve upon her time again?
Yeah, she did. She was a 121.1, now she's at a 121.077. So Sean Lyle has a Herculean effort, needs to put in a Herculean effort to try to beat Angela Sims' time. Right now, that first corner is pretty okay, but Sean Lyle really needs to make sure that this next 2 sectors will be good for him. And right now, qualifying has officially concluded. Sean Lyle is now only a tenth of a second behind. But let's see if Galal can gain some time on the second and third sectors.
If Galal doesn't manage to do this, this will be a very great upset for the Chumbuds, as not only did Sims beat Galal's original time, but she beat her own time again. And right, it's just one giant mess.
It's one giant mess if you are a Chumbud, but right now Sean Galal is not finding any improvements in that second sector. Try as he might, he's just losing a lot of time, because right now in this track, I believe you might need 2 warm-up laps to get a very good lap. And right now Sean Galal is only good for him to set 1 hot lap, which is not going to be enough. He probably needs to set 2 hot laps. And right now Sean Galal not having enough pace on that car would probably mean that Galal will miss out on pole position, but he will still start on the front row. Angela Sims has something to cheer on for.
Well, I mean, not necessarily as impressive. I did notice Kento Kai went up from about 5th to 4th, really just kind of putting Adachi down to the bottom 5, well, bottom of the bottom, whatever. Well, not bottom 5. The
What?
bottom of the top 5, whatever.
Yep, the bottom 5. So anyways, that will be it for qualifying, and congratulations to Angela Sims in that number 33 Anya Melfissa car. She starts on pole position for the Buriram Super Prix. So let's take a look into the starting lineup here for the Buriram Super Prix, and as you can see here, let's take a look into the starting lineup right now. We have Angela Sims leading the field here in the number 33 Anya Melfissa car. Ignore the weird oil in the bottom of the car, that's just cosmetic. And anyways, we also have Sean Galile in second place for Gargura. It's a shame that he had to miss out on pole position this way, but it happens. And Aziz Mouazid continued his consistent run inside the top 3, top 5 with a very good qualifying session for Ayunda Risu. Kento Gai starts 4th for Hakos Bales, with Takeda Dachi 5th for Ninomai Inanis. Zeke Wembley starts 6th for Sarasvana. Let's see if we can climb himself even further up the table. Juan Constanto 7th for Oro Crony alongside Yuri Rafa de Oliveira, 8th for Pavolia Rene. 9th goes to Kate Garcia for Vesha Zeta, and Jake Martinez, current championship leader, mired down in 10th. Sven Jensen 11th for Iris alongside Corrica Mendes, 12th for Takanashi Kiara. 13th in car number 13 is Keiko Takaboshi for Crazy Oli alongside Dan Evans in the number 15 car for Irani U15. Amel Osho is in the final points position for Kyla Kowalskia alongside Hinoshi Tayo for Hoshina Bamuna in the 16th position. Hanari Miyuki found some late qualifying improvements for her to get into 17th for Kobo Kanaeru. 18th goes to Ethan Bertelsen for Nanana Shimome, and last place goes to Bernardo Santiago for Watson Amelia. So before we get this qualifying session before we get this race underway, Z, I would like to hear your thought about the whole qualifying session and the race that's coming up.
Honestly, in the top 3, I think only Mazif really did kind of impressive there, especially because Martinez got 10th, which is really going to hit their standing hard unless they improve within the race. Because 10th gives you points, but just not nearly enough to keep up that leaderboard grind.
Alright, so right now with the race about to get underway here, we have Angela Sims on pole and Sean Galile lining up alongside her in second place. It's going to be yet another feisty race in Formula Hololive International here in Buriram for the Buriram Super Prix. Remember that this is a Super Prix, and given its shorter race instances, drivers are not expected to pit for fuel, and they're all just going to have a have a full flat-out race from the start to the finish without any breaks in the pit lane unless they crash. So with that out of the way, let's get this race finally underway, and that is race about to get underway, and that is Angela Sims on pole position for Anya Melfissa. Sean Galile alongside her in second. The race gets underway for 55 laps here in the Buriram Super Prix, and that looks like a very, very good launch there from Angela Sims, and it looks like there's not going to be any major contact right at the back, but there's going to be a lot of jostling for position. Look at Aziz Mouazid tries to challenge Sean Galile, but meanwhile, looking at the rest of the field here, the top 8 are currently, top 6 are currently constant, and now we have Aziz Mouazid diving down the inside of Angela's Sean Galile for second place. Mouazid is not just going to be content for third, he's going to be content for second. And right now we have Angela Sims leading the Buriram Super Prix, Mouazid second, Galile third, but that won't be for long. Adachi 4th, Kai 5th, Wimberley 6th. Oh, they're going side by side, pushing each other off. Wimberley 6th, De Oliveira 7th, Costanto 8th, Martinez 9th, Garcia running out of top 10, and now we have Takeda Adachi joining in the mix for the battle for third place.
Galile is just kind of taking blow after blow at this point, going from second to third and almost went to fourth, but I think, nope, they're still side by side. I lied, actually. But as, the tires warm up, so is this racetrack at the moment. As everyone is fighting for position, there are a few spots where no one has really improved at all, but, everyone is just fighting everyone at the moment, and that's how the start of these Holo GP3 usually goes anyway.
Formula Hololive races, but anyways, we're looking at more jostling at the back. That's Garcia up into 9th, Corey Rico now up into 12th, Ethan Burleson 15th now, Tayo's now up into 17th. Amigo, there's more side-by-side battles here between Jake Martinez and Kate Garcia. Now, that would mean that Jake Martinez just had a very, very poor run at turn 1. Now he's under pressure from Sven Jensen. More positions being gained left and right. This time between Kai Adachi and Wimberley. You can see here a lot of too wide action after turn 3. Coming into turn 4, this will get juicy.
Yeah, truly, and Adachi is really trying to get that reclaimed place from Kai that they lost back in that qualifying, which is kind of embarrassing. And Sims really seems to be comfortable in first place with only about a second ahead of Maziv. So far, the top 3 look somewhat comfortable at the moment.
And right now, Angela Sims with her 1 second lead over Maziv. She is currently controlling this race right now. Goliath absolutely had a mare of a start. After starting on the front row, he would at the very least try to challenge Angela Sims for the race lead, but he just slipped further back. And now we see Goliath going further down the field than he would usually want. He's currently 3rd. Maziv managing to find the mistake that Goliath made at the turn 1 at the race start, manages to seize the opportunity for 2nd. Angela Sims fastest lap 1:23.502.
We're seeing kind of abysmal laps at the
Oh, and that's Hanori Miyuki.
127. What just happened?
Looks like she's made contact with what looks like Hinoshi Taiyo or Bernardo Santiago. Hanori Miyuki. Her season has not gone to plan at the slightest after reaching her collective high at basically Phillip Island. Of now 5 races into the 7 races into the Formula Hall International season, and that's Hanari Miyuki. That's her first setback. She's now going back into the pit lane right now, and it looks like she might be able to continue, but we'll have to wait and see. So anyways, we'll have Juani Castanto and Kate Garcia going side by side for position. Let's see, Castanto on the outside. Kate Garcia manages to defend on the inside. And right now, Castanto's going to try to go for the counterattack. But right now, it's Kate Garcia currently in 8th place. Miyuki can't get her car restarted. She looks to be out of the race.
Sorry for the background noise, that was my brother. But more importantly, Miyuki, yeah, it's just an overall lame season. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not sugarcoating it. This is just a lame season. But as we look at the timing right now, so far the laps have increased a little bit. We got 124s, 126s, mostly 125s across the board. And it's honestly kind of shocking to see someone already get a DNF at about lap 2, 3 of the race. That is just
heartbreaking.
Young.
And heartbreaking indeed. Obviously, we've seen crashes from on lap 1 as well. And obviously, crashing on just at the start of the race is also going to be very much a heartbreak. But what is not a heartbreak is Kento Kai, who just set the fastest lap of this race so far, already beating out Angela Sims. Now, Kento Kai is probably on a revenge tour after what happened in the Sepang Super Prix. He was actually challenging 2nd against Zeke Wimberley throughout the entire race up until the later stages. And during the later stages, he basically lost a lot of pace and dropped down into 3rd place after Angela Sims managed her tires better than Kento. And that would mean that Sims actually beat Kai for 2nd place at the Sepang Super Prix, and now Kento Kai is on a revenge tour. Let's see if Kai is able to catch up.
I'm just gonna say this, but I think Goliath might be the weak link of the pack and I think Kento Kai is just gonna slowly gain pace until eventually they just kill off that 3rd place, just that bronze medal dead. With Kento Kai's now.
And right now, so we have Sean Goliath on board, the number 99 Galgura car. You can see here he's actually caught up to Aziz Muazif. You just mentioned here that Muazif may be the Goliath may be the weak link in the top 4. But I don't think so actually, because you can see here Goliath is actually catching up to Aziz Muazif, who's actually losing time to Angela Sims. So right now, Goliath is gonna try to play the long game maybe and try to catch back up to Sims the calm and composed way.
It's weird though, because Kento Kai is also catching up with Goliath, so we just kind of have a bit of a vacuum going on right now for this, like, whoever just takes initiative basically.
And so right now we have Sean Goliath already at the rear end of Aziz Muazzi, and now what Goliath needs to do is have a very good exit at turn 9. Coming to turn 10 and 11, he needs to get closer and closer to Moazib, but I think Goliath made his move way too early, and that caused him to basically lose some time. Anyways, Angela Sims continues to set fastest lap after fastest lap. She set a 1:23.126 for her, but right now we have Moazib and Goliath already slower than Kento Kai, who is going to make it a three-way battle for second.
Yeah, it is just a bit of a rough patch for Goliath right now, as the gap went from about 1.5 seconds to almost half a second now. But Goliath does have a chance to shine against Moazib as they go side by side. Goliath does have a bit of that advantage going through to that turn, but I don't think he'll make it, actually.
But I think he'll make it. He's gonna try to hang it around, but right now you can see here Moazib having a very good exit off of turn 3, managing to be ahead of turn 4. That's very good defensive driving from Moazib.
And speaking of defensive driving, Goliath might have to do a little bit of it very, very soon, as Ketokai is really tugging Goliath's shark tail right now. I don't know.
And right now on Goliath's rear view mirrors, that is actually Kento Kai currently trying to attack Sean Goliath. We're going to go a bit of an onboard shot here. As you can see here, Goliath is actually under pressure from Kento Kai, but at the same time, he's actually applying pressure to Aziz Moazib. And as you can see here, Moazib absolutely struggles in the corners, but manages to actually beat Goliath at the straights. So it's basically... he's trading off one feature for another, Moazib. Let's see who's going to be chickening out on this part.
God, he thinks he's a Nissan. But more importantly, however, we are now kind of at a bit of a stalemate right now, as everyone's kind of half a second. And speaking of... actually, I don't even have a speaking of thing here. It's just Sims is doing just better than everyone else. Like, 5-second gap on... lap 7, seriously? Come on. I know you're better than that, Assetto.
Anyways, we're looking into some few gaps that close in. We did mention that Kate Garcia also. She managed to climb herself now into 7th place. Now on the throes of currently the one with the most wins in Formula Hololive International, at least in terms of points-paying races. Zeke Wimberly currently in 6th. As we mentioned here, he's currently the record wins holder for this season so far with 2. He's had some very dominant wins in Super Prix, which allowed him to basically get up into 3rd place from basically 17th in round 2. Talk about a great comeback.
Hop off, bro. Hop off.
Anyway, speaking of hopping off, Angela Sims continues to improve on her lap time. She's now set at 1:22.975, and right now, Moazib and Goliath have no way to respond to Sims's current state of affairs. And right now, we're looking at Kento Kai, who's currently still on a battle between Goliath and Moazib. But as you mentioned here, it's currently a stalemate right now, and that actually goes to the rest of the field as well.
That being said, however, with Sims being so dominant, to say the least, I think that eventually Carz will take a play in this, at least in some form or another. Because looking across the board, there's a lot of 2s, even some 4s and 5s. So, I think the possibility of a Carz is quite likely.
Yeah, I can understand your sentiment here for the case for Carz, because right now we're looking at the cars at the back as lap times. They're actually probably lapping at around a 1:26 or 1:27. So basically 4 seconds slower than the leaders already. And as you mentioned here, the threat of Carz is pretty much real, as you mentioned here. Anyways, we probably won't be seeing Carz up until very late into this race, maybe like 10 to 5 laps to go. But anyways, here it is. Kento Kai trying to mount a challenge on Sean Goliath.
Yeah, and speaking of which, I think Sims just made the best lap again at like almost a 1:22.
She's already set a 122, but is it a 122.87, something like that? But yeah, that just shows to you where her dominance lays right now, because Angela Sims hasn't had this good of a race since ever. I mean, she's currently having her best race since Sepang, the Sepang Super Prix that is, and she's probably on her way to get Hololive Indonesia's first win of the season.
Yeah, that, and with the pace going on with Mazif, I believe that they can they have room for mistakes right now. They have some wiggle room because they're just doing that well in the race right now that they can afford a few mistakes. But of course, that doesn't mean they should take them. But you know, still.
But anyways, if any one of you is watching the stream right now, the Fifth Fest is currently 1 week away, and hopefully everyone is able, if you're able to buy tickets for the Fifth Fest concert live streaming, if you're not going to attend live, there's at least a QR code in the bottom left of your screen, as it's showing right now. Scan the QR code if you want to have access to the Fifth Fest tickets, if you want to watch your Oshis perform in Hololive's biggest stage this year.
The ARL is not sponsored by Hololive. This is merely a fan project. Please do not take this as a sponsorship. Thank you.
Anyways, thank you, Z. Kento Kai, back on the track. We're on lap 10 of 55 in the Buriram Super Prix. Kento Kai is on the hunt against Sean Carlisle, and you can see here he is getting very, very close here. If Kento Kai can have a very, very good exit off of turn 3, he's going to have a very, very good slingshot in this back straight. Coming into turn 4, now you can see here, he's gaining a good amount of time, but I don't think he's gaining enough time. Sean Carlisle has this third place covered.
Yeah, and like I said, Galile does seem to be the weak link in the top 4 right now. Galile really let Mazda go that easily. It went from like going side by side to almost a 2-second gap. So we are definitely having some problems right now, especially with Kento Kai on his revenge arc or something.
Right now, Kento Kai is trying his best to absolutely rip it to the racetrack. Obviously, with Hakos Bells performing in her birthday live in the leap day of the year, which is on February 29th, last February 29th. Kento Kai right now is absolutely having some energy that's basically being transferred over from Bay. And right now, Kai is going to try to find his way at least into a podium finish.
Yeah, that's the hope, but then again, I have seen people fumble the bag, like, the whole race, so, like, we could definitely see someone that, like, appears strong, but in reality, they really just cannot attack if their life depended on it, which I guess Galile really should hope for, and speaking of Galile's hopes, how did that drop from, like, half a second to almost a whole second?
Well, if we're talking about tire wear, as we've mentioned earlier in the stream, currently Buriram's ambient temperatures are currently set at 31 degrees. And speaking of current situations here, Ahmed El Ashor is currently going side by side with Puerto Rico Mendes, who's going to try to edge past Puerto Rico Mendes here. You can see the radar on the bottom right here. They're still going side by side here. Not much room being given between the two, but Puerto Rico Mendes tries to hang it around the outside. And that's a very, very good performance there from Puerto Rico for him to make him move up into 12th place. Anyways, back into the ambient temperatures thing. The ambient temperatures here currently in Buriram is 31 degrees. And that also means that the track temperatures are also actually quite hot. And so with hot track temperatures, the tires are actually prone to overheating, and when they overheat, they don't give as much grip as you'd like. So you gotta have some tire economics and some tire management into you if you want to have your chance of having a consistent pace.
Well, we need freedom units. We need a conversion of that into Fahrenheit or something, which I think I can do. That's around, I think, somewhere around 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit for all the Americans, and I guess technically, I believe, Libyans out there. So it is very, very hot on the track right now. And there's also a whole bunch of tire wear. So overall, it is not very fun for the tires to race on this track. You can even see a little bit of the lines on the tires, I believe, if you look close enough. So
Yes. Anyways, just to help the conversion to imperial units, it's actually around 93, 94 sorry, it's alright. It's around 91 to 92 degrees Fahrenheit for ambient temperatures, and for track temperatures, it's actually around 105 degrees Fahrenheit for all of the imperial unit users. So anyways, right now, as we mentioned here, the tire wear might be an issue for some drivers, and you can see here, Angela Sims is not able to convert her previous dominance currently in this lap. She's now about 7/10 slower than her fastest lap there, Angela Sims.
Anyway, back to the 666, conspiracy. I guess it was a curse, because Martinez right now is in 10th place, like a bozo, who is probably gonna lose their spot to Mazev, because Mazev is in second, and like, it's just over.
Well, you're absolutely right in this case, because right now, as we mentioned, Aziz Mazev is actually en route to take the championship lead away from Jake Martinez, and with Zeke Wimberly only down in 6th place. As we mentioned, Mazev is in a favorable position to take this championship lead and have a very sizable gap. And, you know, you can take 666 with whatever grain of salt you want to take or whatever. Even if you are representing death or whatever, 666 has some meaning into it. And right now, that meaning doesn't connotate to a very good meaning. And as you can see here, Jake Martinez and Juan Costanto battle it out each other. And now he's going to actually lose something to Sven Jensen if Martinez isn't careful.
Yeah, it is just not a very good race for Martinez right now. All I can advise is just take it really, really cautiously right now, because you don't want to lose even more positions to, you know, your opposition and the like.
Anyway, speaking of positions, he's actually going to try to gain a position. We saw Juan Costanto actually losing a lot of time in turns 9 and 10, and meanwhile there's more battles here between Corey Rico Mendes. Where did Corey Rico Mendes come from? He actually managed to get himself close to Sven Jensen there.
Oh, I hated that. I saw his car take like the curb and all that, and it actually like annoyed me a little bit. Oh.
Meanwhile, further up front here, we have Zeke Wimberly making an overtake on Takeda Adachi. Now Takeda Adachi actually has a very, very good run off of turn 3. Will Takeda Adachi make a move down the inside of turn 4? They're going to go at it between the two. Oh, you can see here, Adachi nearly loses the car. He absolutely lost the rear just a while, but manages to keep this car under control. Zeke Wimberly manages to place his car in a favorable position despite Adachi's counterattack. That's some very good driving. Zeke Wimberly now up into 5th place.
That was, I'm pretty sure, scary for both parties. I saw that, it looked like the car was tweaking out for a second. And if it weren't for Adachi, I think either, at least one car would be decommissioned, and then the other one would be severely mangled.
Well, as we've seen with crashes, we've had a lot of crashes in turn 4 throughout all of the aero competitions here. And we've seen crashes where one driver goes down to the inside wall, one driver basically going down to the escape road, and in both cases there's some severe amounts of damage on the cars because it's literally a very high-speed corner, and basically there should not be any room for mistake. And the fact that both drivers managed to basically come out unscathed, hell, actually one of them losing control momentarily and then managing to get back in control, that just shows you the quality of the talents that we have here at the moment.
I'd be horrified if I was Adachi, not only because I almost just crashed into a large concrete object, but also because I'm almost 2 seconds behind someone that I just fought, like a lap or 2 ago. That is not good pace.
Well, it's not good pace, but it's better than the alternative, which is basically literally crashing out a racing tire. So you basically just take this 2-second loss rather than having to take this huge DNF with a very severely mangled car. Anyways, back onto the racing scene here. Angela Sims actually lost a good amount of time there to Aziz Muazev, who was actually, while he did lose out to Sims early on, Muazev is actually playing the long game. And that actually paid dividends to him, because right now the gap was at around 8.3 seconds like 3 laps ago. Now it's dropped down to 7.6.
Anyway, I'd be How did that gap go from 4 seconds to like 3 in like a lap? Whoa, that race pace is crazy actually. We are on par to see a pile driver actually. That was a 122, high 122. That is scary.
Well, speaking of scary, we're currently having a potential of 5 drivers potentially battling it out for the win here in the Buriram Super Prix. Zeke Wimberly continues to showcase his amazing pace. Now, had it not been for that one incident in the Malaysia Grand Prix, Wimberly could have made it 3 out of 3 because he actually started on pole in basically rounds 4, 5, and 6. Which basically was a consecutive run of 3 pole positions, which unfortunately came to an end this round with Angela Sims' pole position. But right now, Zeke Wimberly is on fire right now, but not really on fire. Zeke Wimberly helps nature heal absolutely very, very quickly with this number 98 car, absolutely ripping through the stage. Let's see if there will be more battles coming into the mid stages of this race.
Anyway, if they do manage to take over Kento Kai's position, they're gonna be on some cope from what I'd imagine, because that'll be twice in a row the same driver stealing a position. So that is just not fun, especially with Galile just kind of sitting there doing nothing. It is just not a good feeling.
Anyways, if you want to go back to Moises' last wins, he last won an ARO event. That was in Sepang 2023, and I believe basically one of the Sepang rounds where he would remain still in contention. Moises, that's where he got his most recent win for Ayuna Risu. Obviously, as far as talent synergy, driver/talent synergies go, Moises has been doing pretty okay for Ayuna Risu in Hololive GT3, where he's had at least 1 win, and that was in Sepang last year in February 2023. And now Aziz Moises is continuing on his stint right now for Ayuna Risu, currently in the prime of his career. Let's see what he can do to at least catch up to Angela Sims. But speaking of catching up to Sims, Sims is back up in terms of pace. Moises might only be able to match it.
123.666. Wow, Moises, that is actually kind of impressive, but I think they lost like what, 0.2 of a second?
Yes, 0.2 of a second lost.
Yeah, so that is, Sims is like napping apparently during the last few laps, and they just woke up this one. So it is kind of embarrassing, honestly. Well, not embarrassing, but it's kind of a letdown for Moises.
Well, it's a letdown for Moises right now, but if you look at the big picture right now, Jake Martinez is currently down in 9th place. Zeke Wimberly is still down in 5th. And then we also have other drivers like Takeda Adachi down in 6th. So Moises, he can take the second all he wants. He can take his 2nd place because he knows that that 2nd place is enough for him to maintain his, take the championship lead away from Jake Martinez once again. Remember, Moises, through consistency alone, has been able to lead the Formula Hololive International standings, and that was after round 5 of the season at the Sepang Super Prix. So Moises is going to retake the championship lead at this rate. Meanwhile, there's more battles at the back with Corey Rica Mendes and Sven Jensen. Sven Jensen is going to go at it against Corey Rica Mendes. Sven Jensen is going to go side by side with Corey Rica Mendes, but Corey Rica Mendes manages to place and position his car very, very well. And speaking of positioning, look at I am El Ashore.
Yeah, it is just a little bit of a ruckus happening within the back ranks with all this conflict. Oh god, I'm gonna butcher his name so bad. El Ashur, only about 3/10 behind right now, really just trying to charge up at Jensen right now, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna try to go for it, and they took curb and messed up. Okay, well, it's not like it matters. Evans is like almost 10 seconds behind.
Well, he has a fast car there.
What is Santiago doing?
Well, so Bernardo, if you're looking at Bernardo Santiago here, he's currently having not much of a good race right now. He's currently just there in 18th place, not being able to perform as well as he had hoped. He's currently lost a lot of time to Hinoshi Tayo. And speaking of gaps here, Angela Sims is currently at turns 9 and 10. Santiago just crossed the line into turn 1. So as you mentioned here, lap cars are gonna come earlier than we think.
Than you think. I thought this was gonna come pretty soon. But anyway, back to Mazif and like the consistency thing. Although yeah, Mazif has been pretty consistent, and honestly, even with really kind of charging in and about to kind of really making the pace off of Kentokai, like that was like 0.3 of a second easily.
So there's gonna be a battle brewing for P2.
Yeah, for the Mazif, even then I wouldn't necessarily be super intimidated, because even if Mazif gets third because of Wimberly, I think Mazif still takes champion
The lead.
champion leaderboard. They just kind of they just gotta make sure Martinez doesn't get any higher.
Anyways, right now with Jake Martinez down in 9th place right here, Jake Martinez really needs to hope that with where Mazif is right now, actually no, Mazif cannot be second or higher, because that will guarantee him taking the championship lead regardless of where Martinez places himself. If Mazif maybe is in third and Jake Martinez somehow wins this race magically, that would be amazing for Jake Martinez to take the championship lead. Meanwhile, El Ashur has managed to beat Sven Jensen for 12th place.
Look at these back row. They're really fighting for the silver spoon, huh? There's not even that many points, but I guess points are points.
Well, points are points.
Seeing kind of consistent letdowns in the bottom of the back ranks, I'm not gonna lie. Although we do have kind of some lights in there, like Mendez has shown to be the backseat warrior in 11th place, but currently trying to charge that on Constanto, who's kind of lost a lot of pace. Wow, 11 seconds. Okay.
Well, you can see here we also have some improvements here. Yuri Rafael de Oliveira has just had his own personal best lap time for him to mount a challenge against Kate Garcia, but right now he's currently having a somewhat of a lonely race right now in 8th place. But meanwhile at the front here, Aziz Muazif is actually losing a lot of time to Angela Sims. Now back to where we were at the start of this race. Now the gap's dropped down to 9 points. Opened up to 9.7 seconds there between Sims and Muazif. Galil, Kai, and Wimberly are currently hot on the heels of Aziz Muazif. But let's see where it leads to, because right now for Muazif and Galil, they just want to stay where they are. But for Kai and Wimberly, they want to one-up them.
Well, if we want to talk gaps right now, I think we shouldn't ignore Adachi and Garcia's gap going on right now, which have slowly but surely been whittling down. And like Adachi, although they did do strong, like kind of in the first bits of the race, they've kind of been really losing touch. I'm not gonna lie, because that was around 4 seconds, I believe, too, and it's dropped down to almost half a second.
Yep.
I guess Garcia is telling me something. I don't know.
Anyways, we're looking at Kate Garcia actually catching up to Takeda Adachi. Garcia is actually faster than Adachi by about a tenth of a second, maybe a few hundredths of a second. But those small margins count when it comes to these types of close racing, because sometimes races are decided by inches, qualifying positions are decided by inches. And right now, it's going to be the case for this race, with Kate Garcia only being a hundredth of a second faster, but that might put her in position to challenge Adachi for 6.
But yeah, boys, don't worry on the size of it. It's the technique that really matters. That's how Sims got the first place. It's because their driving skill is very, very good. So good that they've mounted about a 10-second gap between them and Mazif. Well done.
And right now, Sims, as you mentioned here, Sims is consistent, qualifying, consistently fast race pace, managing to one-up everyone here at the moment here. Now, I believe Angela Sims still has the fastest lap of this race, and if this is the case, then Angela Sims is going to match Zeke Wimberly's Grand Slam achievement of qualifying on pole, leading every single lap, and get fastest lap of this race en route to your win. And so right now, Angela Sims is showcasing that if Zeke Wimberly, if anything you can do, I can do just as well.
Well, I guess this international season is surely pretty eventful with all of these records being set and then broken and then kind of set again. It's pretty interesting, honestly. Something we don't really see in our more standard JP format, at least with all the cars in the JP format.
Well, which actually showcases the skills of these international talents here. Meanwhile, we have the battle for the final positions here. Ethan Brotherson just loses out yet another position now, this time to Hinoti Tayo. Hinoti Tayo actually not having the best season of her career up to this point. She has been pretty much subpar throughout much of the season right now, currently sitting last in Formula Hololive International, despite Hoshinova Muna showing high tide and showing a strong shield onto herself. Hinata Tayo hasn't had a best time converting from Shirakami Fubuki to Hoshinova Muna.
Well, I'm gonna throw them completely out the window because I think that they're actually gaining on Takaboshi, at least on net race time. And although it's still gonna be like a 126, a 126 is still better than like a 126.2, you know? So either way, they're kind of gaining some progress.
Anyways, looking into progress here right now, Zequimide unfortunately has lost a good amount of... he is still there against Kento Kai, but the pace has dropped off just a bit between 4th and 5th. So it's currently the battle right now is between the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And just want to remind everyone that we've already passed the halfway stage of the Buriram Super Prix, and right now we still have Angela Sims on show.
Yeah, and I don't think that's actually going to change because we are approaching our, actually I think we've technically passed our halfway point, I guess. Am I right?
Yeah, we already passed it.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, sorry. We've already sorry. We apologize that we've not passed the halfway stage. If we got our minds mixed up. If it was like lap 48, for this entire race duration, then we can say it's halfway. Sorry, the halfway stage of this race is actually at around lap 27 to 28. Apologies here. Anyways, Aziz Mwazir now sets his personal best lap time of the race so far. And now he's currently on the hunt to catch Angela Sims once again. And speaking of which, here's Bernardo Santiago. Here's Angela Sims.
We can do math, by the way. We are so good at math. But what's more important than math is racing. And racing we are doing. Let's look at the gaps here. And it seems like it, or at least it feels like nothing has changed, like at all. Oh my god, except maybe Mendez. Mendez is doing good. They're at like a third of a second. They're catching up to Constanto. Everything is good for Mendez.
Anyways, for Corey Rico, he's gonna try to get a very good exit off of turn 1 and having a very good slipstream here to try to catch Juani Constanto in the number 92 Oro Crony car. He's having a very good toe. He's got some good gaps in. He's gonna go down the inside. He's gonna challenge Constanto. There is him. Side by side with Costanto on the exit of turn 3, and now it looks to me that they're still going to be neck and neck, both of them having very equal exits. They're still side by side coming into turn 4. Nothing's going to separate between the two. We're going to go off board here. Will Corey Rico manage hanging around, but Costanto managing to hang around the inside at turn 4, but Corey Rico manages to beat him at turn 5. That's a very good racing move from Corey Rico Mendez, showing off his grit as a KFP employee. He's not up into 10th place. Costanto down in 11th.
Mendez is my back rank goat. Oh my god. He is like the king of the losers, you know? Like, they're not doing very well this race, but they're notable because they're slightly better than everyone else in the back rank, and that's something I can commend.
And also looking into Juani Costanto, who is slowly losing touch to the rest of the field. Well, I wanted to highlight something about all the drivers that represented Oro Crony. Well, Oro Crony's season in both Holla GT3 International in the 22-23 season and in Formula Hololive 23-24, there is actually a common theme in that number 92. First of all, is that the number 92 car will absolutely be lightning quick in the first half of the season, but once we reach the second half, it absolutely tapered off. So we're seeing this tapering off of a performance form and pace right now for this car as we speak, because right now Costanto is still mired in midfield.
Well, just like the rear Orochrony, you know, it's pretty bipolar, you know.
Yeah, bipolar, as we mentioned. If you want to go into like a talents perspective, well, Crony is basically pretty, I can't say divisive, but she's got good assets and she's got good skills on the stage. But she's can sometimes muck up, and by mucking up, I mean mucking up comedically, or a Crony. So that's just her. I mean, we love her.
Okay, you could have phrased that way better. You could have phrased that way better.
Oh yeah, apologies for that one. But anyways, just wanted to say things. We still love Crony all the same, even with her imperfections. Even though she might think she's perfect, but sometimes we all make mistakes, and sometimes that is the case. And as for Juan Costanto, he's absolutely channeling that very same thing.
I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but Ella Shore is really no, it's just over now. Oh no, there wasn't even a fight.
Well, it's not a fight for now,
There's
but maybe Juan Costanto is able to catch up.
What maybe? No.
Well, he's gonna try it. Juan Costanto's going to try it, but almost sliding off there, Juan Costanto.
It's just over now.
Well, okay, now we can say it's over. Juan Costanto tried to defend against El Shore, but right now he continues to fall down the field, and that is currently Costanto down in 12th place, only 3 places away from not scoring any points at all, and that is going to be an absolute concern for the Orochrony camp.
Yeah, and he's fallen even further. Oh no. Oh, I'm looking at that gap. No, please stop going up, please.
Yeah, Juan Costanto is not having the best of performances right now. As you can see here, he's already dropping a lot of pace right now. And as you can see here, 124.352 for El Shore, 126.306 for Costanto. His pace is falling off absolutely horrible. His pace is falling off absolutely horribly right now. Costanto might need to find a countermeasure very, very quickly if he wants to save his points status right now.
You know, here at the ARO, we say never give up. Do we actually say that? No. But what's more importantly, that I don't think Costanto is saving this, honestly. I don't know if this is savable.
Okay.
Because even like Santiago is going 125. That's better than 126. Come on, please.
And speaking of which, Bernardo Santiago is actually catching up. Actually, looking at Santiago, he's actually caught up to Ethan Bertelsen, and looking at Angela Sims, she's actually not any closer to basically Bernardo Santiago. So right now, as we mentioned here, it's a never give up moment. It's not over until it's over in Melodi's aspects. And even if you are falling down, Costanto is at least gonna try to bring that Orochrony number 92 to the finish, because that's just who he is. He's not gonna be someone who's just gonna give up just like that. Even with a car who's dropping off a lot in terms of race pace, Costanto is gonna still try to tough it out.
Wait, oh my god, the top 5 might actually do something for once. Oh, look at the gaps. Wow, they haven't been this close in like 10 laps. That's actually crazy.
And right now, we also want to take a look into basically the battle for the second place spot. Angela Sims currently leading this race. If we want to talk about the history of the number 33 car, we've seen wins by former drivers such as Lance Oryx in Hololive GT3. Of course, Lance Oryx, I believe, has won a race for Ida Melfissa in Hololive GT3. And in terms of performances in Formula Hololive, this has been the first time the Ida Melfissa car has actually led a race. And you can see here a 124.1 for Angela Sims, but meanwhile the rest of the field gets set a 125. You can see here also some challenges for third place here. As you can see here, Wimberley tried to challenge Kento Kai, almost to no avail, but right now the battle is still going to go on.
Yeah, it is actually finally heating up in the top 5, and now that we've actually acknowledged this, it's gonna fall off significantly, and then like suddenly, yeah, the gaps are rising again. Whoa.
Well, as you can see here, Wimberley's going to try to get close at the very least here with the slipstream advantage that he currently has right now. But, of course, he's too far back. And right now it's going to be a stalemate once again. So we're going to focus on the back. See, let's check out Jake Martinez right now, trying to catch up Rafael de Oliveira.
Whoa, that lag spike was crazy. But, Martinez actually has a chance to go for de Oliveira, which is kind of nice. But 8th place is actually way better than 9th place by like 16 points or something, which they're definitely gonna need as they're getting knocked off. So they might as well not fall off as significantly as they are.
Anyways, just a bit of an update here. We're using the standard points format for all Formula Hololive events. The extended points format is only used currently for Hololive GT3. So if we want to put this into perspective, the difference between 8th and 9th, that's basically a difference of 13 points. 57 points for 8th and 44 points for 9th. So obviously for Jake Martinez, he wants to try to limit the damage as much as possible. So he's going to try to gain as much position as possible by attacking Rafael de Oliveira. But of course, he's got a lot of challenges for him to basically handle.
Speaking of challenges,
looking at Angela Sims's gap.
Oh yeah, the top 5 are still doing thingies. I don't know when they're actually gonna like do something. I'm hoping really soon. But from the looks of it, nothing is gonna happen for the next 5 laps.
Yeah, nothing's gonna happen for now in the next 5 laps. But we're looking at Angela Sims now trying to clear the lap car. Bernardo Santiago. Bernardo Santiago might be giving Angela Sims a bit of a headache here, but Santiago is gonna immediately clear the lap. Angela Sims will clear Bernardo Santiago. Bernardo Santiago is officially 1 lap down. But let's see if, let's say, Santiago does the funny and tries to challenge Angela Sims once again. Because right now, she's not fully clear because Ethan Bertelsen is still in 17th place.
If you're gonna be really bad one race, the least you could do was troll like the first place person by making their lives absolutely miserable. That's at least my motto. But Santiago really didn't put up much of a fight, which is kind of boring, I'm not gonna lie.
And right now, looking at the current challenges right now, Bertelsen is actually maintaining some decent amount of paces. We already have the first driver a lap down. Unfortunately, that is Bernardo Santiago. Meanwhile, as for the rest of the field, looking at Moaziv, he actually managed to build up a gap against Sean Goliath. So Moaziv isn't just going to retake the championship lead, he's going to retake the championship lead in, I don't know, style blasé or something, because he has yet to win a Formula Hololive race all season long. And he's gonna do what the Hoshinobu Muna drivers of the 22-23 Hololive GT3 International Series had done. And speaking of battles here, look at Kento Kai trying to challenge Sean Goliath, and now look at Zeke Wimberley into the mix.
Oh my god, wait, hold on, the top 5, they're doing something.
Yes, they are doing something right now. Zeke Wimberley is on the outside and Kento Kai on the inside. That will mean Zeke Wimberley has a very optimal run here off the outside as Kento Kai hopped the curb too aggressively. Zeke Wimberley's charge now goes up to 4th place. And right now, with Aziz Moazif currently in 2nd, Zeke Wimberley is on a very favorable position to take 2nd place away from Jake Martinez.
Kento Kai got a 126.5. That is embarrassing. Oh no.
And speaking of
and
right now also Moazif. Yes, I know, but looking at Moazif is actually catching up into Angela Sims right now. If you want to know why, Sims is currently stuck behind lap traffic, and that lap traffic is of course Ethan Bertelsen, as we've mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah, wait, hold on. Okay, Bertelsen is actually trolling. That is awesome. Amazing lap car gameplay. This is where the fun really begins. In like 7 laps, there's gonna be like 3 people up right by Sims, and it's just gonna be complete chaos. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be something to watch out for, as Sims is gonna try to clear the lap car of Ethan Burleson. And remember, no real blue flag rules in this round or in this series. So the basically cars that are about to get lapped, they are free to basically defend their position as basically elite lap cars. And right now, Aziz Muazif is currently catching up to Angela Sims by some rate of 9. And right now, Sims is begging for Burleson to just drive very, very fast. And right now, looking at Angela Sims, she's going to take matters into her own hands. She's going to clear the lap car of Ethan Burleson, and that will be it. But fortunately, the gap's only dropped down to 7 seconds.
Yeah, and looking at the race times here, even for like top 5s, we're only getting 124s to 125s, which are not completely optimal. But then again, pitting into this race is basically optional, and we haven't seen anyone try to do some like silly strategy where they're like, oh, I should pit like halfway through the race so I have fresher tires, and then I bulldoze through everyone.
Well, right now,
seen that yet.
Well, because the race is shorter than usual, and these drivers are not willing to basically risk basically their time. Basically, they're not really in a position to risk their positions, because especially for the drivers at the front, they are currently in a battle of their own. They're basically aren't in a position to afford to lose a lot of positions. And if you can see here, even the lap cars causing troubles to the leaders. That just shows you sometimes it's a bit difficult to overtake. So maybe pitting is not going to be the best solution.
Oh yeah, and speaking of problems, Kento Kai is really starting to feel that the rage inside of them, as they just kind of got their show stopped by the same car twice in a row.
And here's the battle for the silver spoon here, the battle for the wooden spoon actually, between Santiago and Bertelsen. Bertelsen and Santiago battling out side by side for who's going to finish second last, and that's going to be Ethan Bertelsen, almost losing the rear there, and that will cause Ethan Bertelsen to almost lose control. Bernardo Santiago takes the opportunity to make a move around the outside, and he's now up into 17th place.
Yippee! Santiago started like with a 12-second gap. I don't know how Bertelsen managed to fall off that badly, but you know what? I guess Santiago will take it. And now let's see if Santiago can make 10 seconds in 20 laps.
If he's able to catch Hinoshi Tayo and make Tayo's this season a bit worse in perspective, but we'll have to wait and see about that. Meanwhile, Sven Jensen against Juani Castanto, as you mentioned here, Castanto is absolutely falling off in terms of race pace, and right now Sven Jensen is all over Castanto. Same go for Takaboshi against Dan Evans, but to a lesser extent. Meanwhile, Martinez and De Oliveira are getting very, very close there. The gap was at about 0.2 of a second. Let's see where this battle goes.
From what it looks like, absolutely nowhere. They are not approaching each other whatsoever, and he's just kind of sitting there, kind of just waiting to pounce, even though that opportunity doesn't seem to be arriving anytime soon. So we're just kind of sitting there watching two cars just kind of mingle for a little bit.
Oh, and right now...
They're only like slightly faster, I think. Only slightly faster.
Anyways, looking at Jake Martinez trying to catch up to De Oliveira here. Martinez has 1.5 back straights to go, and right now Martinez taking it easy here against De Oliveira here, and you can see here on the radar he's gonna try for a very conventional exit off of turn 3, but he is getting very close here. The gas dropped down to 420, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough. And now we have Aziz Muazif stuck behind the back of Ethan Bertelsen, but if Muazif is able to clear Bertelsen very quickly, then the battle between himself and Angela Sims is not lost yet.
Speaking of battles, if Muazif doesn't clear it, they'll have to deal with both Galile and Wimberley basically at the same time, which if it does happen, we could be seeing a double overtake, and if we see a double overtake, that would be super cool.
And amazing indeed. Anyways, Aziz Muazif currently losing time to Angela Sims at a rate of 9, but at the same time, Sims also needs to deal with Hinoshi Tayo, which is actually about to get lapped by Angela Sims. Sims obviously hasn't been seeing this amount of performances ever in Formula Hololive. This is the first race ever in her career where she's led laps to this extent. Of course, Anya Milfisa has also been there to support the number 33 cars in both Hololive GT3 and Formula Hololive. Meanwhile, we have Golal and Moazev actually trading blows between each other for second place. As you can see here, Moazev got held up, and actually Golal used the lap car as a pick, and now Golal's back up into second place.
That was pretty cool, and now Moazev is kind of trapped in a cage with Wimberly for a little bit, at least until they get their race pace back on. Which is gonna be kind of unfortunate, because it looks like they're just gaining and gaining for now.
And right now, looking into this current state of affairs between Golal and the lap car of Ethan Bertelsen, right now Golal's gonna try his best to catch up at least. And now looking at the rest of the field here, second to fifth have already been bunched up, and that'll also open the door for Adachi and Garcia to maybe catch up, and then it will become a 5 to 6 horse race for second.
Yeah, and right now I guess the fight for just all the places aren't over yet, as we're just seeing everything kind of happen at once. The back ranks are active. Speaking of back ranks, we all even have a fight going on right here where the cars are kind of tweaking out right now. I'm not even gonna lie.
Because the grip on these tires are absolutely falling off. Yes, the cars are tweaking because the grips on these tires are absolutely gone right now for a lot of these cars. We're already running 38 laps on these fragile tires, and Costanto actually managing to defend very well against Ben Jensen there on that second to third sector. That just shows you that Costanto is at least not giving up on his pursuit for points.
And honestly, even the leaders are starting to feel like the burn right now, as they're landing like 125s, 126s, like pretty regularly now. Oh man.
And also at the edge of their grips too, because right now you see a lot of these cars just basically twitch in the middle of these high-speed corners. That just shows you that the grip is gonna be breaking off in these tires at any moment's notice, and any slip, and that would mean that the car will basically end up in a spin, and that will mean that their races will be over. But right now, we still have 18 cars left in this race, and right now we're only around less than 20 laps to go. It's still going to be very feisty, especially given the state of these tires.
What do you mean only 18? Miyuki's just been in the pits for just a really long time. She'll be out pretty shortly.
Well, we'll have to wait and see if Miyuki actually makes the choice to actually continue this race. But right now we still have 18 cars, which are still either on the lead lap or at least one lap down, because we know for sure Miyuki is multiple laps down. So that's that. Anyways, Kento Kai gets a bit close to Zeke Wimberly here in 4th place. Kento Kai isn't giving up just yet, and you can see here the wear on those rear tires and the front. We're gonna go a bit of an onboard right here to showcase you some wear on the fronts as well. All sides of the tires are worn out right now, which shows you about the tire wear that we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and you can see the skid marks on the track itself too, which only shows how much these tires have been screaming and gasping for any kind of rest.
And no rest for these tires, and also no rest for these drivers. Speaking of Sean Goliath, he's currently hanging it around in 2nd place. He absolutely needs this result, given that he has not been performing at his best in Formula Hololive International up to this point. Obviously, this car has at least won a single race. Oh, you can see here, he lost the rear in the middle of turn 1. That just shows you how much tire is left on that rear end. And right now, there's not much tire left on that rear end. Chongalao nearly lost control at turn 1. That would have been a race-ending moment.
My glorious king, Sean Goat Lyle. He will consolidate 2nd place in Shohei.
Well, he's absolutely showcasing that he's got the skills needed to at least try to hang around where he is right now. He may not be able to take this win, but at the very least, he's showing that he's got the skills needed to wield this number 99 car representing Gaogura, and the Chamas are got to be very excited about it. Obviously, for some of them, they might see brown on their pants.
Okay, bro.
All right,
You're corny. You're so corny.
all right.
You're so corny.
Well, it happens, it happens. But anyways, back onto the racing scene right now. Mwazif currently in third. Mwazif in third. Wimberley fourth. Kento Kai fifth. It's still the status quo as it stands. But right now, it might not be the status quo for Jake Martinez and Yuri Rafael de Oliveira. Jake Martinez is going to try to attack as much as he can, but right now, it's not it's not to any avail right now. But Martinez is getting close.
Speaking of avail, that just isn't there. 126 is across the board. Oh my god. The race pace is just kind of non-existent for every car now, and except for Martinez now, I guess, because they're like 5 seconds behind, but they just keep on switching and switching.
But also we have Puerto Rico Mendes only setting a 125.546, so it may not be over just yet. But anyways, right now, there's no call to make a pit stop just yet for any of these drivers so far, because every single one of these drivers know that the loss of positions and the difficulty to overtake here in Buriram to an extent is going to basically make them lose more time and basically lose more positions. So the drivers are not being advised to make a pit stop so far, and right now everyone is still continuing on as usual. Meanwhile, Jake Martinez tries to find a way against De Oliveira, also to no avail.
Dude, if we've seen anything from the top 5, the gaps really don't matter, honestly, because you'll see them fluctuate from like 2 tenths to a second, and then they go to 5 tenths, and then they go to 3 tenths, and then they go to 4 tenths, and it's just kind of, nothing really goes on. We're not even gonna, I don't think we're even gonna, we might see 2 more overtakes this race.
Angela Sims currently free to race on her own. She has already cleared Hinoshi Tayo. Hinoshi Tayo is currently dropped down against the clutches of Bernardo Santiago, currently in 17th place. Meanwhile, we have Ethan Burleson absolutely acting as a massive roadblock against basically the drivers battling for 2nd place. And right now, it's still a stalemate so far, but who knows what might happen, especially with the car at the edge of control. We'll have to wait and see.
Wait, oh my god, my glorious King Santiago actually managed to clear 10 seconds within like 20 laps. That's actually kind of cool. Anyway, they're like 3 tenths of a second away. I don't think they're gonna make this overtake, but it's still, that's very, very good job.
Anyways, currently we want to take a look at some of the other drivers currently in the field. Keiko Takaboshi is in the final points position for Crazy Ollie, and then we have Dan Evans on the lonely race for Ironio 15. Castanto and Jensen were at a battle on their own, but right now Castanto is at least able to hold on to 12th place for now. El Ashore in a very good position as well. He's currently up in 11th place. Coy Rico Mendes in the top 10. De Oliveira Martinez battling up for 8th place. But that might be also with Coy Rico Mendes. And oh, you can see here, Kento Kai tried to dive bomb down the inside of Zeke Wimberley, and that absolutely did not work. And now Zeke Wimberley manages to defend his 4th place. Okay, it might be a bit of a slight minor nuisance, but at least Wimberley is able to defend 4th.
Man really just went, that's crazy. Speaking of, what is going on over there? Okay,
and we
127 to 126?
Yes, right now we are looking at Yuri Rafael de Oliveira, absolutely a second slower than Coy Rico Mendes right now. Coy Rico Mendes is on a very good position to take at least 8th place, but at the front, we got to see Kento Kai diving down the inside of turn 12, the final corner, to try to challenge Zeke Wimberley for position, but of course he hit the curb way too hard once again, and that undid any advantage that he had right now. And now, looking into the current situations here, we get to see Zeke Wimberley managing to defend around the outside of Kento Kai, and currently the status quo remains.
Hey, Martinez is like 4 tenths away from
an overtake.
De Oliveira. That's cool. Wow.
Well, he's been this close for quite some time now. Now you can see here, Jake Martinez just showcasing that he's got a lot of pace. Meanwhile, there's more trades for position here. Once again, that's Zeke Wimberley, Kento Kai, and now we have Takeda Adachi now moving out into 5th place after Kento Kai made the same mistake once again at turn 12, and now Adachi up into 5th place right now, and it's going to be Adachi up into the top 5 right now. The battle for the championship lead is still very much hot. We know for sure that Aziz Mazin will retake the championship lead, and with Angela Sims and Adachi hot on the heels. Meanwhile, we have Zeke Wimberly and Aziz Mazin going side by side. Wimberly's not going to be content enough for 4th. He's going to try to contest it for 3rd place, and now Zeke Wimberly is going to hang around the inside of Aziz Mwazif. It's going to be close between the two. Down the inside goes Wimberly at turns 4, and at turn 5 and maybe turn 6, Zeke Wimberly is going to be set for 3rd place.
You are seeing very delicate trade-offs blow for blow right now, because one wrong move and all that progress goes undone. And the top 5, they have a lot to lose, so they are being very cautious with their racing, which is why you see these overtakes either failing miserably or just not gaining enough momentum, because the drivers are either way too reckless or way too cautious.
And you can see here Kento Kai making a move around the outside of Adachi, as you mentioned there. He tried to make a move against Waze, and now it's not going to work out for him. He's going to take the curve way too much, and now it's going to be Kento Kai back into 5th place. There's not going to be much change from when we started the lap, but right now that might change again. Look at Adachi down the inside of Kento Kai into turn 1. The gaps being left between the two, and right now the battles are going to continue between Kai and Adachi. And as you mentioned here, all of these battles, every single one of these drivers have to take it very, very carefully. One wrong move, and they're not just going to lose 1 position, they're going to lose 4.
Or all of them. God knows what's going on over there. And Mazif, who was honestly probably a fan favorite, other than Sims obviously, managed to get knocked down to 4th, which is just a downright upset. And speaking of moving positions, Jesus.
Oh, look at Zeke Wimberly down the inside of Sean Galal there at around turn 5. Yeah, you can continue.
Yeah, Wimberly was tweaking for a second there. You saw them almost lose control of the car there, which is kind of why they didn't make that overtake. But speaking of overtakes, I think Mazif is really going to try again. Well, not again. I think this is their first time trying to overtake, but they're going side by side right now, and I think Mazif does have a... No, actually, Wimberly has a slight edge.
Anyways, there's a lot of battles left, right, and center. Now Kai and Adachi going to go side by side once again at turn 12. Zeke Wimberly has the 3rd place right now. Ethan Brotherson. Oh, there's contact further back. It's Kento Kai, and it's going to get collected by Kate Garcia. There was contact between Kento Kai and Takeda Adachi, and that paid horribly for Kento Kai, and now that's going to cost Kate Garcia.
You think that paid horribly for Kento Kai? Look at Garcia.
Yes, Kate Garcia was literally a passenger on that collision there. Absolute scenes here in Buriram, and as you can see here, Goliath finally managing to get past the lap car Ethan Bertelsen, and this would mean that Sean Goliath is going to be able to hang on in 2nd place.
Garcia was really just like, they weren't even part of that. That was just unlucky. Oh my god. And Garcia was so average too. Like, they got into like no conflict whatsoever just to get cut off at the final 10 laps of this race. That is just embarrassing. And they were set to score a decent amount of points too.
That has got to be very, very unlucky for Kate Garcia. Not as unlucky as yeah, but not as unlucky as Alderson Tanrato. Oh, Angela Sims! Angela Sims! Angela Sims has crashed out of the lead!
Rip Ozo, oh my god.
How did this happen? How did Angela Sims crash out of the lead?
They had one job. I said Goliath was gonna... What is it? Hold on, Mazif was tweaking out for a second. I saw Mazif's name go red. Okay.
That is absolute. This is we are at a loss for words here. The leader has crashed out after controlling much of this race. Angela Sims has bottled it at turn 12, starting lap 47, and now we have Sean Goliath taking the lead of the Buriram Super Prix.
I'm smoking you, bro. Smoking the pack. Oh, pack of Marlboros and shit, bro.
And the championship complexion has absolutely changed once again. And now with Sean Goliath now taking the lead of this race, he's going to be in a surefire position to at least move up into the higher positions and at least get into the maybe get into the top 10. Wimberly with his second place run, and with Jake Martinez currently out, Aziz Muazib in fourth, Wimberly is in a very serious position to basically take the race championship lead away.
How did Adachi get to third place? They were in like 6th, so they got past Mazic and Kai really got the short end of the stick within the top 5. They shouldn't even be breathing right now. They should be lucky they're even still in this race. Because they not only did they somehow get Garcia out, but they managed to will their way into back into the race. I don't even know how.
The Buriram Super Prix has taken an absolute crazy turn for the worst for two drivers now. Angela Sims and Kate Garcia are crashing out with only 10 laps to go, and this would mean that for the 7th race running, an EN class car will win a Formula Hololive International race.
What if it crashed into a concrete wall 3 laps before the race ends?
Well,
because apparently anything can happen. Like, we might as well just say pigs can fly at this point. Because Sim should not have crashed out there, first of all. Garcia should not have crashed out right there. It was supposed to be Kento Kai who was supposed to crash out there, but apparently Garcia did instead.
And obviously with we have Jake Martinez currently up in 7th place. That's going to do him absolute favors in at least limiting the damage in the points tally, because you can see here the two drivers who were in front of Jake Martinez, which is Sims and Garcia, they both crash out. And looking at all of the 3 DNFers, all of them are in the ID class. So the Indonesia class cars are not having a very, very good day here. And speaking of not so much of a good day, we might have another battle for the race lead.
Speaking of race lead, this is a Wimberly consistent 0.3 of a second faster than Goliath. So even Goliath's victory isn't even set in stone. So not only are we gonna upset, you know, Anya's fans, but there's a potential Gardura upset for the 2nd time in a row. Not only did they get their pole stolen away, there's a potential to lose this whole race over one stupid little... I hate this.
Anyways, we're looking at probably some more battles coming up here. Sean Goliath is still behind Bernardo Santiago and Hinochi Tayo. And if these guys catch the lap car at the worst possible moment, that would mean Takeda Adachi and to an extent Aziz Muazib, they might be able to make this 4-horse race for the win.
I doubt that. I really doubt that. It's 4 seconds, so we're gonna have to rely on some serious blunders for our top two candidates right now. Yeah, I think number 3 and 4 set in stone unless Kento Kai has anything to say about it, and he probably does, because they are gaining on Mazif at an alarming speed.
Anyways, Zeke Wimberly currently only matching Sean Goliath barely. Wimberly's only slower than Goliath by about 2/900ths of a second. And speaking of catching up, the top 2 are actually catching up to both Bernardo Santiago and Hinochi Tayo, who are currently in the bottom 2 points positions. So we're looking at 2 battles in both ends of the points tally. And right now, if we could be seeing Goliath and Wimberly catching up to them, it's gonna get interesting here in these final 5 laps.
What would only make this better if Goliath somehow found a lapped car to have a fight over with like every other.
Yep. Well, when even our own commentators aren't able to put this to words about what has happened in these last 5 laps, you know something crazy has happened in these races. Angela Sims, who have had control for most of this race, crashed out from the lead after basically making contact with another driver. We're going to be checking into the replay to see who she made contact with. and all this, and we now have a huge change of complexion of this race late on in this race. And right now we are currently having Sean Goliath just leading Zeke Wimberly by only barely by about 4/10 of a second. 4/10 of a second. And now you can see here Wimberly gaining a good amount of time against Goliath. If Wimberly have a very good run off of turn 1, then Wimberly might be able to challenge Sean Goliath coming to the next 2 back straights.
Is this the worst race of 2024?
Not exactly the worst race of 2024, but we're gonna have to keep going here. Just wanted to take a note, Z. Right now we only have 5 laps to go in this race, and right now it's just going to be a lot of racing action. You know, I'll be taking over for I'll be taking over for at least a good amount here in these last 5 laps, because right now we're going to be reviewing this race from start to finish. It was Angela's race in control, and from the start of this race, she led the first 46 laps, and then absolutely bottled it on lap 47 when she somehow got into a collision with another driver. We're going to see if this is basically her doing or not, but right now we are looking at a huge change in complexion of this race between Sean Goliath and now between Sean Goliath and the rest of the field here. And now Sean Goliath all of a sudden is in the lead of the Buriram Super Prix. And right now we still have 2 battles which have yet to be resolved from the battle between the race lead. And now you can see here Sean Goliath tries to challenge Bernardo Santiago. The Amisame cars are basically not cooperating with each other once again. And now Zeke Wimberly is going to go hit it on Goliath once again.
Oh no, oh, this is so bad. This
Anyways,
is so terrible.
Anyways, Jake Martinez against your Rafael de Oliveira trying to battle against each other. That might be something. But anyway, again, for Zeke Wimberly, he might be able to challenge Sean Goliath for the race win. And speaking of a battle, it's now a 3-horse race for basically the race win. You might say that this is no good, but this is actually very, very good, because right now we have Sean Goliath trying to challenge Bernardo Santiago for the basically a position here. He's gonna try to put Bernardo Santiago a lap down. Meanwhile, we have Kento Kayu and Rafael de Oliveira going side by side. So many battles happening at the same time.
This is horrible, horrible racing. Oh my God, the tires are barely breathing.
And look at Zeke Wimberly. Zeke Wimberly hanging around the outside of Sean Goliath to take the race lead.
Bad. I hate this.
You might hate the current tire conditions at the moment, and right now Zeke Wimberly now has the race lead. You can excuse some of the words here, because yes, in terms of the tires, they're not exactly at their best, but right now Zeke Wimberly has managed to re-snatch the race lead away from Sean Goliath, with everyone having very, very poor tires at the moment. Zeke Wimberly leads this race with 3 laps to go, and right now, as it stands, with Zeke Wimberly taking the lead of this race, he's gonna take the championship lead with it as well.
Yeah, remember when we were saying Mazif had a very comfortable championship lead after this race? We actually lied, apparently, because Mazif is in 4th. He's not improving, by the way. He's not gonna improve, but he's not gonna improve like at all. He's stuck in 4th. Goliath, and then there's a 3-horse race.
Right, we're gonna review back basically the points earned for these drivers here. And right now with Wazir currently in 4th, he's going to only be set to score 130 points. And Zeke Wimberly will score 70 points. Just wanted to review the points system at the moment. This would probably mean that, yes, it's going to be confirmed. Zeke Wimberly will only get well, we also lied on the championship lead part. Zeke Wimberly will now only be at about 30 points behind Aziz Wazif, who will still take the championship lead, but basically the gaps are going to be extremely nervy. And now Sean Goliath is going to go down the inside of Zeke Wimberly once again.
That didn't work.
Well, that didn't work right now.
Martinez just took 6 from Kai, for no reason other than to just confuse us even more. So now Martinez is in the ropes to score a bunch of points, just to, you know, throw our analysts through a loop. And Mazif is also getting, no, not even Mazda, no, we're focusing on Adachi now. Adachi is getting stupidly close to Goliath too. So yeah, let's just upset the Chumbuds even further, yeah, we should,
And right now, nature is healing at an exponentially quick rate right now. After after Phillip Island, the Sarasvana number 98 was only in around 17th place, and now coming into 5 rounds later, Zeke Wimberly is gonna be on course to win his 3rd race in Formula Hololive International, accelerating the healing rate of nature even further. And as a result, putting that Sarasvana number 98 within touching distance of sealing the championship leadaway. And right now, Zeke Wimberly just needs to keep this race under control. And right now, we have Sean Goliath having a very, very good exit off of turn 11. Now down the inside of Sean Goliath into turn 12. But will Sean Goliath take it easy onto the curve this time? The answer is probably going to be somewhat of a no. And you can see here, Zeke Wimberly leads the final lap of this race, and now Takeda Adachi is on the heels.
Oh, no, and a little bit of a fight, actually.
Yes, between Adachi and Goliath here, and you can see Adachi's down the inside of Sean Goliath. Adachi is going to try to get himself into 2nd place, as you mentioned, causing a good amount of misery for the Chumbuds, but the Takodachis may not give a damn about it, but you can see here, Goliath is at the very least trying to make this defensive line work. And that's what Zeke Wimberly, that's what he really wants to see, the battle between second happening, and because that will give Zeke Wimberly a lot of breathing room.
Who doesn't have breathing room though? Goliath, who's about to get upset even further if Adachi wins, is to take his place back, which, God knows if that happens. I don't even know.
And Adachi has now taken 2nd place.
For all I know, Adachi's gonna hit his, domain expansion, put rings on his car, and just start flying to the finish line.
And speaking of flying to the finish line, Zeke Wimberly is going to assist the acceleration rate of the recovery of nature with his 3rd win of a season coming in with 1 corner to go. Zeke Wimberly has been in it to win it. He's now going to score his 3rd win of the Formula Hololive International season. He wins the Buriram Super Prix for Sarasvana. And you can see, yeah, we know Zeke Wimberly has been absolutely pushing it from the start of this race. He is now putting in an amazing championship run from the back to the front. And now you can probably say that maybe, if our maths are correct, Mozzie will still have the championship lead. Will now have the championship lead, but it will only be at a 30-point gap over Zeke Wimberly. We're going to be checking the full points gap as we go, but looking at the other drivers, Kento Kai has absolutely got to be raging on himself because he was in the battle for the top 3, and now he's now down into 7th. Jake Martinez has to enjoy this race because he has managed to basically limit the losses that he's had. We have Evans, Takaboshi, Tayo, and Santiago almost about to cross the line here. Ella Shore scores his first top 10 of his ARO career. Castanto is in 10th. What a race this has been.
How did Goliath go from 2nd? No, he went from 3rd, and then he went to 1st, and then he went to 2nd, and then he went to 3rd again. Dude, he's just been all around the podium, and he managed to get 3rd after it got stolen away from him on the last lap at that, too. The last lap.
Anyways, that should be it for the Buriram Super Prix. We are going to review this race right now. Zeke Wimberly with a very, very amazing, it was another surprising win actually. When starting off this race here, we weren't expecting Zeke Wimberly to take this win, but there he is. He takes his 3rd win for Sarasvana, and that puts him inches closer to the championship lead that Mozzie might hold if Zeke Wimberly isn't holding it right now. Takeda Adachi has to enjoy this 2nd place run for Ninamai Inanis. And Sean Goliath makes it an all EN class podium position. Aziz Moazev has to absolutely rage that a win eluded him once again, but he cannot be too mad. That's his That's his 5th consecutive top 5. Same goes for Rafa de Oliveira, who also had another top 5 finish of his season so far. Jake Martinez does well to limit the damage for Mori Calliope. Kento Kai has absolutely been fuming for the lost chances that he's currently rowing right now for Hako's Bales. Corey Mendes finishes 8th for Takanashi Kiara. Amit Alasho, as we mentioned, first top 10 for him in Formula Hololive International for Kyla Kowalska. And Juan Castanta rounds out the top 10 despite not having the best car. And as we said, never give up, Z.
Unless it's this race, in which case you should. I hated this so much. The leaderboard changes were just so arbitrary, and like the fact that you go from 12-second lead to crashing out on nothing is the most insane bullshit I've seen in the ARO, and I've been in this organization for like I think a year.
Well over a year.
Approaching a year.
Well, it's over a year, and
well over a year.
Yeah, well over a year since September. But yeah, apologies for Zeke Wimberly's language there. But you can see how frustrated he's currently experiencing right now, especially for Angela Sims, who's led 45 laps throughout this race, and it all came down to nothing in the final 10 laps. Speaking of which, we're gonna be taking a look into basically all of the drivers, basically the replays, a bit of intermission as we go. But first of all, let's take a look into what happened to Hanari Miyuki. So let's take a look into what's happened to her.
Alright, hold on. Let me get my voice ready.
You can see here, Hanari Miyuki going down the inside. Oh, that's a very hefty contact between her and Keiko Takaboshi. Let's go have this shot again. You can see here.
Dude, that crash was full of malice. That was the they did not care. And
Well,
then they drive outside the track.
Well, that is not really the point here, because you can see here in the rear end of Hanari Miyuki's shot. You can see here, coming into turn 12, you can see here both rear wheels make contact. As you can see here on the bottom right of your screen, this is what pitched Hanari Miyuki into a spin. And as a result, here's what happened. Boom.
Yeah, it is very... Honestly, I would rather crash out on the first lap than the fourth one, because on the fourth one that gives you like the feeling of safety that, oh, I survived the initial purge, you know.
And here's now we're looking into the incident between Kento Kai and Takeda Adachi, which put Kento Kai into a spin. Let's see what happened here. He takes the curb way too hard here. No contact from anyone so far, but Kento Kai trying to get back on the track managed to unfortunately collect Kate Garcia, and that actually put her out of the race. That has gotta be absolutely horrible.
And Kate Garcia was so average too. There was nothing that happened to Garcia like at all. Like that whole race, I can't name one notable moment from that race that included Kate Garcia except for that crash.
Well,
and they shouldn't have even. And the thing is, they kickstarted Kai's car too. I don't think Kai's car would have kept on going if it weren't for Garcia sacking like her whole car.
And here's Angela Sims. Here's got to be one of the most horrible sides here. For if you're Angela Sims, this has got to be probably the most painful side possible. And as you can see here, what happened to Angela Sims? You can see here, Angela Sims actually tried to go down the inside of Keiko Takaboshi. Oh, that's not right. That's not right. And again.
Oh, they crashed out over something so meaningless.
And it's a battle against the lap cars too. It's a battle against lap cars too. She was battling against Keiko Takaboshi.
You were really just crashed out over nothing. I not only would I be angry if I was Sims, I'd be embarrassed. Over a lapped car is insane.
I just wanted to check back the rear end onboard.
You got trolled. Okay.
And here it is, Angela Sims is on board from the rear, and as you can see here, she actually went side by side with Takaboshi now, and ouch. And just wanted to clarify a bit of something here from Takaboshi's onboard. Just wanted to check back on when that incident happened again. Just wanted to check back. Okay, here's Takaboshi's onboard. This will be the last onboard of the stream before we move on into the championship standing. So here's Keiko Takaboshi. And you can see here Angela Sims made a lunge down the inside from miles out. All caught Keiko Takaboshi somewhat unawares. And as you can see here, oh, there's no way for Takaboshi to go.
That was force of hand.
Anyways, that's going to be the championship. Sorry, that's going to be all the replays settled as we're about to get the championship order underway. Hopefully, Discord doesn't bork this time by. So anyways, that's got to be a very, very interesting race. You might say this is a very, very terrible race because the tires just fell off absolutely horribly. But as we've seen here, there was a lot of racing action here. And we are going to confirm it. And actually, we're going to confirm a very, very different scene here. Because Zeke Wimberly is not actually confirmed to be in third place. Because, as we confirm, Aziz Mwazif does take the championship lead. As you can see here by the top 5. Aziz Mwazif with 775 points. Jake Martinez with 756 points. Zeke Wimberly with 748 points. This means that the gaps between the leader and third place is only 37 points. So make that if you will, Z. Anyways, Takeda Adachi fourth and Corey Rico Mendez in the top 5. They're now with 3 races to go in the Formula Hall International season. And before we head to Fuji for our Capture the Moment Grand Prix, here's the standings as it is.
God, that spread is way, way too tight for my liking. I'm off. They're off by like 8 points. Jeez.
Anyways, we also have Juana Castanto and Angela Sims falling out from the top 5, falling ever so closer away from the championship contention. And speaking of which, we also have Ami Ella Shore still on 8th. Kanto Kai and Yuri Rafael de Oliveira booked places inside the top 10. Dan Evans and Bernardo Santiago moved out of the top 10. Ethan Berkelson also dropped down outside the top 10. You have Sean Golial at the very least now moving up into 14th place. Hanori Miyuki continues her downfall in 15th. And then we have Kiko Takaboshi 16th, Kei Garcia 17th, Sven Jensen 18th, and Hinoshi Taiyo rounding up the drivers in the field. And just wanted to remind you that you need to be at least 175 points at this point for you to remain in championship contention. This would mean that Hinoshi Taiyo, Sven Jensen, and Kate Garcia have now been officially eliminated from title contention for the Formula Hololive International title.
That especially with that leaderboard, the next race, that leaderboard is gonna be like, it's just gonna be a pain because the positioning of next race is gonna matter so much because the spread is just so tight.
Yes,
it's just so tight.
Yes, it's gonna be so tight, and
So
every result
like,
matters.
one position is just gonna change the whole like leaderboard. It's gonna mess it up so badly. I hate it.
Well, you may hate it because you're not in the championship league right now, but whatever the case is, it's been a very entertaining race once again here in Buriram Circuit for the Buriram Super Prix, and this will be the last race for Formula Hololive International before they all head to Fuji for the Capture the Moment Grand Prix next week. Hope everyone is able to watch our streams before the 5th Fest starts. So anyways, that should be it for today's stream. We hope everyone has enjoyed the stream immensely. I'm Mama Shadareza, and alongside me is Zeke Wimberly, and we'll see you tomorrow for the Hololive GT3 final round of qualifiers, which is the Capture the Moment 500 at Fuji. We'll see you there.